Welcome back, everyone. So we've reached a point where our character is now complete. If you've been following, how this character is made, it should look something like this, or your own character. It should still look something similar like this with the topology around it. For this exercise, we're not going to worry too much about edge flow and all this stuff because you just want to get this character into something like Substance so we can start texturing, or Photoshop. So what we're going to do is now prepare the character's UVs. And if you're not sure what those are, it's when we start to open up the character model and try to make it into like a 2D. So if you ever remember putting together any cubes in elementary school, how it looked like a T, then you put it together and now it's a cube. Now we're just going to do the reverse of that. And that's what we call making the UVs for your character. And I'll put up on screen some examples so you all can see what I'm talking about and how we will get to that point. So, for my character here, I got the main body and all its claws. So we're gonna have to UV each of these parts. And you're probably wondering, hey, how do we, UV something like this, right? Well, we gotta do it in different parts. So for this example, we're gonna cut off the neck as one separate part, cut up the arms as one separate part, cut up the torso, another part, the legs, the tails, and others. And we cut it up like you're cutting up like clothing, as for example. And I'll show you how that's done for the torso. So to get started, let's go ahead and hide the rest of your character parts for now, and just focus on your main body. Like I'm gonna focus on this one here. So go ahead and just hide, press the H key, or select them from your outliner. So I'm gonna go ahead and hide them, and I'll just have this character here. So go ahead and select your character. Then we're gonna go up here to your UV tab here. UV. Then on the very top, you're gonna have something called the UV editor. So let's go ahead and click on that. Now, what this is showing our UV space of our character. And we have all these different grids. I want to worry about these right now. We're just going to focus on setting up our UVs into one single square here. So you can tell this looks all over the place. Doesn't look like something that's laid out nicely or anything. And we have to do this before texturing because we're literally drawing on a 2D plane, and that's how things get textured. So to get started, I'm going to go ahead and to navigate this, you hold your Alt and mouse click, and you can pan, Alt, right click to zoom in, zoom out, or you can use also Alt and left click to move around as well. So somewhat similar to move around in the 3D space here. So what we're gonna want to first do, this is how I kind of do things to kind of reset everything while having our character selected here. We go back to UV, and we can go ahead and hit camera based. And what this does is just taking a shot from your current angle, and that's creating your UVs, right? I normally do this because all the cuts that are done when I'm modeling get reset, which I kind of like. So I'm gonna go ahead and click on it, and now here's the character here. So we're not done yet. You need to cutting it up. So we're gonna go to our right side on our unfold here. We're gonna go ahead and open that up. And we have all these little tools here. And when we start the cut, things will, press unfold to actually open it up completely. So we'll leave that there for now. So let's go ahead and now let's right click over your character and let's go to our edge. So we're gonna go ahead and go to edge here. Let's go back to UV. And now let's go ahead and find 3D cut and right here, 3D cut and Sue UV tool. So now you have this open here. Again, I'm working on a character that's symmetrical, so I'm gonna go ahead and turn on my UVs, or my symmetry, my object X. If your character is not symmetrical, don't worry, you don't have to turn this on, but I'm just doing it for this demonstration. So now you can see everything's symmetrical here, and we're gonna go ahead and start. So you simply just click on one edge here, and you can hold your shift key, and you can start to create a large cut. And when I let go, this white line here is it's defined, like that's a defined cut. Obviously you can do Control Z to get rid of it, or if you don't know how to do that, or if you can't do that, you can just go hold shift and Control to get rid of them, to reclose it, right? So you gotta be careful where you cut the UVs here. You want to make sure it's a nice clean cut around, if possible. Since the character was a little bit modeled in mind for some UVing, this neck should be easy for us to cut. So I'm gonna go ahead and click from here and hold shift and cut around this neck. It's not the prettiest, but it's gonna get the job done. So again, clicking over it, hold shift and just dragging it. And you can see on our right side that it's actually showing us where it's cutting it as well. So we're gonna go ahead and now press your Q key or your selection tool, then object mode, and now select this character. It's normal here. Let's go back to our window here where our UV editor is. Let's go ahead and right click and go to UV shell. I want to go on the head part. So now you can see that this is now separate from the rest of the model because this is now cut. The UVs of this character head is now cut. Now to further cut these UVs, we need to cut in certain areas. So for a character head like this, right, you want to start from the bottom. Again, let's go ahead and select a character, go to edge, select your edge. Let's go to our tool, which is located here, or on your UV and the 3D cut, and so UV tool. So for heads, so characters, it's best to start with the neck and cut all the way to roughly a chin, like their chin here. Now this is a dragon with a snout, so it might be a little bit different for us, but that should still be okay for the start. If your character has horns, let's go ahead and separate each of those. So if you know the thing is gonna cut around perfectly like this, you can just double click as well. It can be quick. I'm going to continue to click around here. And since I know how these UVs are in the spikes here, it's going to turn out alright. So the reason why I'm separating the spikes like this is that over experience I know when you unwrap it, it makes it a lot easier. And separating these spikes like this is you know, if your character is like a spider, has like a lot of limbs, it's generally the same idea. And I'll show you how to cut these horns or spikes individually as well. So again, this is just done to make everything easier. So now if we go back here, I won't do it right now, but you can see that they're all being cut here. And with the long character like this, head, we're just gonna start cutting from the middle here. But I wanna try to avoid messing with the spikes here. So since these cuts are already here, I can just double click in the middle here and it will just cut only this section, which makes things a lot faster. So just double clicking here, which I'm doing a little quick, but it's not too fast. It's just double clicking to cut these little sections. And we can only do this because we already cut these horns out here. And us cutting from the back of the neck to, I guess, the top of their head will make cutting this character head, which can be a little complex, a lot easier for Maya to do. So I'm gonna go ahead and undo that because I don't want to cut all the way there. I'm gonna go ahead and just cut probably up until maybe that horn right here. So your character has eyeballs, their eye sockets. It's best to also cut around that too, because these pockets go in, and it'll be easier for Maya to unwrap it. So go ahead and cut from there, and let's go ahead and look around the model. Obviously there's more horns here, so we're gonna go ahead and cut from these horns. Looks like it's cut all the way around, which is good. We're gonna go ahead and cut this horn all the way around as well. One of these larger horns on the side, we're gonna cut that as well. So it's a lot of cutting. It can be a lot time consuming for a character like this, a little complex in the first time around. If you're doing like a simple human character, it'll be a lot quicker because you're just cutting out the ears, the nostrils, the eye sockets, and that's really it. But that's this is typically how you want to cut, I guess, the head of your character. And we're gonna go ahead and see how it looks when we unwrap it. So go ahead and right click, go to your UV. Let's go ahead and move the body out of the way. Let's select it. And now, since all these pieces are cut, you can tell they're cut. I'm gonna drag, select them all. We can now hit the unfold here. And there you go. That's how it looks when the character face is now opened up. Yeah, it might look a little weird, but that's typically what we're looking for. Now, for these horns, I'm not a big fan of how these are just circular like that. I can tell it's not, the UVs aren't proper. And the way to also check that is your checker pattern here. You want these to be as uniform and square as possible. And here, I can fix these UVs a little bit more, but you can tell in the horns that there's no squares, or really good looking squares. So I'm gonna continue to cut each of these horns now. So when it comes to like spikes like this, the best way I like to cut them, we're gonna go ahead and select the character. Oh, again, don't forget to save. Let's go ahead and save. So let's go ahead and select our character. Let's go ahead and go to UV and 3D cut and sew. So again, we brought this tool where we can start cutting again. So with spikes like this, I want to cut, from the middle. I'm going to hold shift, cut, drag, and only cut to the tip of it. That's all we need. When it comes to UVs, you want to try your best to hide your seams, as well as creating minimal seams in your character. Just enough to at least get the UVs spaced out properly for your textures. So again, I'm just clicking from the beginning, holding shift, drag, and I'm just dragging it up here to the tip. And I'll show you in a moment how that will look when we unfold from here. So I think that's all UV or horns here. I also have these other ones that I need to cut as well. What I'm doing here is just cutting the tip here because it's kind of hard for me to reach down here on some of these other horns, but since I knew I cut around it, I can just double click once I cut the beginning of that part. So looks like that's all of them. I could be missing one, but we'll just check back to it. So let's go and right click, or before we right click, let's go ahead and press our Q key or our selection tool. Go back in our UV editor, right click, and go to UV shell. And now we want to go ahead and drag select our UVs, and let's go ahead and unfold them again. And now you can see they cut differently and they're open differently. You got these more, I guess, cone shape horns or horn looking shapes. And when I increase the size so we can see the UVs, now you can see the squares are a little bit more proper and proportioned, a little bit better. Now, another thing to keep in mind with the character with the mouth, if you model like a mouth bag, I guess we essentially model a mouth bag for this character by making the mouth inside of it. We want to also cut that as well. So this might be a little hard on this character here. We're gonna have to open this up a little bit without messing with the top. But I want to try to see if I can just cut it from here. You know what? I'm probably gonna decide against that. I don't want to waste too much time. I want to show how to texture this as quickly as possible. If your character's mouth is open, go ahead and follow the same, I guess, technique as I did with this eye socket. If your mouth is open like this, just go ahead and cut it as best as possible, like I did with the eye socket here. Then, when you cut your mouth, the UVs for your mouth, I'll definitely separate the mouth bag into two separate UVs. So we'll just go ahead and, for this example, cut this eye socket, like if it's your mouth bag, into two different UVs. So once we got that, I think we're more or less ready to move on to the next section. We're gonna go ahead and we'll just go ahead and just move these out of the side. Don't worry about this being all over the place. We will put them all together nicely as possible in the first UV plane here. Alrighty, so let's go ahead and move on to the next section of our character here. So next we're going to want to focus on is separating the arms now. And assuming that you've been pulling out your character's limbs, like how we've been doing in the examples here from the earlier sections of the videos, should look a little like something like this, where at the beginning of the arm has the circular edge flow around it, like such. So when we go to actually cut it, you know, having the character selected, I'm going, if your tool here, this little knife and needle thread tools here, or you can go back to UV and your 3D cut. Let's go ahead and start cutting from here. So we can either double click, I'm going to go ahead and double click here, and I should be able to cut around what we need. Sometimes it doesn't do it all the time because we have, you know, I think these what you call it, like junctions, or forgive me if I don't recall the proper terminology for this, but this is like a star intersection here instead of like the simple 4, you know, edge crossing here, intersecting here, and this is what can stop, you know, that double clicking for completing. But it's not too much of an issue because we can just go ahead and start clicking around this edge to reach here. So we got what we needed, which is great. So now we got the arm separated. You can go back by pressing your QT or hitting your selection tool. Go back to our UV editor. We can go right click over the section of the model, go to UV, select it, and we can now move it over here. Now I can tell there's something going on here. My UVs, it's a little interesting. Looks like I may have messed up the model here in some section. For demonstration purposes of, you know, moving along, I'm not going to worry about this right now, but it looks like at some point I kind of merged this section here, which obviously did not want. We'll worry about that later. Just want to show you how to cut the arm. So the way you cut like a singular arm like this is we want to also separate the hand as well. So let's go ahead and get this 3D cut tool selected, or UV 3D cut, and let's go ahead and cut around. I'm going to go ahead and double click it. I'm going to cut the wrist area from the hand. Now we just have our singular arm here. So the way we want to cut this is like from the underarm section here, because what this will best hide our seams from the camera as much as possible. And again, my character has spikes here, so we also want to separate that. So same way we kind of separated the spikes or horns from our character's head earlier. We want to do the same thing for the arm. And the same thing, I'm going to go ahead and cut. Since I remember last time, I'm going to go ahead and cut all the way to the back to the tip. And I'm keeping in mind keep my seams in certain areas. I should probably cut them from the side here. So I want to go ahead and redo these because we want to try to hide our seams as best as possible from the camera. So it looks like it's all cut there. Now the way we want to cut our hands of this character, don't mind how, you know, this is. just how the model is. I'm gonna cut those areas open. So how to cut a hand on a character is that you want to cut from the middle, of the hand, and as best as possible cut it all the way around every other part of the middle of the hand, like this. You know, remember, holding shift, then click and drag, and you're cutting through the middle. Try your best to cut it through the middle as possible, like this. So when we open it up, it'll be even on both sides, and that's the best way you can cut a hand. So now when I go to my selection tool, go to UV shell, I'm gonna go ahead and select this part of the model. Now I want to go ahead and unfold, so everything's gonna open up. And again, now the character has, as best as possible, like the squares opened up here. Same thing with the hand. And your hands should normally look something like this if you have hands on a character, open like that. And these just look like sleeves. The arms opened up just look like sleeves, like a shirt. So if you think about it, it's like, you're cutting open a shirt. And when you create clothes, it's kind of the same thing as well. So now that we got the head and arms cut, we can go ahead and move on to the next part. For this video, it's kind of running a little long, so I want to go ahead and fast forward things to where it's all cut. All I'm going to really do is just do the same exact things I did for the head and the arms. The legs should still follow the same rule like the hands, except for like the feet. The only difference about when it comes to feet, I'll show you real quick. When we're cutting it, let me go ahead and focus better on this part here. If you're having trouble like this, where it's moving bad, go to your right click, go to face, select a face that you want, like this one, and then go ahead and hit the F key. Now it zooms in on it, but if you just drag out and you rotate around, now your perspective camera is now focusing better on this, which is what we want. So before I fast forward, the only difference I'm doing with the feet here is when we cut it, same thing like the foot or the hand. Gonna cut it from the ankle section, and it's kind of like a shoe where we cut it. We're gonna cut it down the middle a little bit. But if your character has like toes like this, like a hand, you can do the same thing, just cutting it down the middle. See? Or you can just double click if if your edge flow is proper, just all the way down the middle. Now this back section, if you have a hole like this, definitely cut it like our eye socket. This might not look proper on the UV, it might be stretched a little bit, so we can go ahead and cut in the back of the heel. You sometimes might have to cut in the back of the heel, like how we did with our, the jaw section of the snout of our character, how it's kind of cut here. So we have minimal stretching of our UVs. So that's going to be the only difference I'm going to do with the leg parts. I'm going to cut the legs almost exactly like the arms, cut here, cut around again, cut off the horns or the spikes. Then I'm going to cut individually these spikes like I did with the head, cut the tail like I was cutting the arm around here, and just cut the seam down the middle here. And that's how I'm going to go ahead and cut this character. So I'm going to be right back. Alright, so with our eyeballs, it's very simple when it comes to like cutting these for the UVs. I'm going to go ahead and I want to set it to the camera base so we can get a clean cut, or there's no cuts. And eyeballs, it's just your pupil. And I guess mostly this front side of your eye is what we're going to see the most, even if it moves. So we just need to cut just roughly to right here, giving us space for all of this. to take most of the space here. So I'm gonna go ahead and have this set to object mode. Select our 3D cut tool or 3D cut and sew from here, and we're gonna cut to the side of the eye, a little bit more back here. And when we go to selection mode, then go to object mode, go to our UV editor, right click over it and select your UV shell. Make sure it's selected. I'm gonna go ahead and hit our unfold. And that's it. That's all I gotta do when it comes to getting the eye UV. Alrighty, so I got this whole character UV'd. I'm gonna go ahead and show you. Got everything separated here. I'm gonna select the rest of my character's parts, like the eyes and the claws, and it's all here. Now it looks very messy, and don't worry, there is a simple way we can easily clean this up and have it all as best as possible put together into one UV plane here. So when we're in our UV editor, go ahead and right click, go to UV shell. Now let's go ahead and drag select them all, or you can just go ahead and in your outliner just select them all here. Or you know what? Let's see. No, let's just go ahead and drag select them from here. Be a lot better. So yeah, again, drag select. Then we're gonna go to modify, and we're gonna go ahead and find outline layout. And what this is going to do is put everything into one UV plane, and it's also going to take into account resizing them to where they're proportionally more accurate. Because if you can see here, before I hit that, the squares on this arm are a different size from like the squares from like this horn here or other parts of the body. And the reason that's happening is because the UVs are a different size, and what that is the amount of pixels that it has more compared to the other parts, which means you know, the smaller these squares, the more detail that you know this part will be. But when you start painting on it, it might look different when we're crossing different UV parts here. Like, you know, it'd be more pixelated from this side compared to the other side, and you definitely don't want that. So we're gonna try our best with the UV layout, with the modify. It's gonna evenly, I guess, disperse all of like the detail and pixels as you know, same as you know possible from the other limbs. So again, we're gonna, you know, make sure everything's drag selected all, go to your modify, and we're gonna hit layout, and it evenly puts it all into one UV plane here. And now you can see, as best as it could, our squares are roughly the same size to every other part, which is great, because when we paint from different seams, the pixels should be a lot closer to each other. Now, one thing to keep in mind for certain characters, if there's gonna be certain money shots like this, if it's gonna be like a main highlight shot of my character, or just like the bust here, like a medium shot or medium close shot, you definitely want to make sure that you have enough pixels here for that shot. Now, what we're gonna do is have like a 4K texture on this character, so we'll get enough detail in this. But I can see there's a lot of UV space here that I can definitely use because it wasn't completely filled up. So at least for my character's eyes, you can see they're very small, and I definitely want to get more detail because it's the eyes, and it's going to be a lot of focus in a lot of characters. So I want to go ahead and just make sure everything's selected so I know where they're here. Go to UV shell, And I'm gonna go ahead from here, since I see it, I'm gonna go ahead and click on my character's eyes. Have them both selected. And I'm gonna just go ahead and just increase them. And by me doing this is that when I go ahead and texture, the eyes are gonna have quite a bit more detail in them. Typically, you know, your eyes and face of your characters are where you want to have a lot more detail in, a lot more resolution is probably a better word to use. So yeah, for this example, you know, we'll do it this way. I don't really like to do my characters with multiple UV shells, but that can be a little complex, and that's not what we need at the moment. So again, if you forget, you know, have a new UV shell, drag select, modify, and hit layout, and this will evenly space out, place every part of UVs nicely, neatly, and giving equal resolution across the entire model. Now once you have that set, you know, we're looking, everything looks good, just take time to, you know, look on your model, making sure there's no drastic distortion in your squares here, your checkerboard. And once we've done that, we can say we are ready to go to texturing. So in the next video, we'll set up things, taking this model to Substance 3D Painter, and we can start texturing this.